So much for inviting us here today. I am Annemarie Rendering. I work for the Ministry of Health. Marlou Bijlsma, she works for the Dutch National Standards Institute. And we're missing our third person, our chairperson, Cecile Janssens. She got a really cool job in Atlanta, so she couldn't be here. Sorry about that. Here we go. Now, Marlou will explain how we got to the quality criteria, and I would like to explain to you why the Dutch government thought that they were necessary. In the Netherlands, as you probably know, we have very strict regulations in our own screening programs. I love being here because everybody keeps telling me the Dutch, oh, they have it all sorted out. Thank you so much for that compliment, but it's not entirely true. We have our flaws and our problems just like everybody else, so we need very strict quality control as well. We also have a Population Screening Act that says you need a permit for all sorts of screening for cancer, for use of radiation, or for conditions that you can't cure. So that's a very strict regime, but outside of that, we have no real criteria. It's sort of a gray area of health checks, and that is very confusing to the public. We keep telling them you have to take charge of your own health, but if they want to get a checkup, they pretty much can't in Holland. What they do is they go online, they order all sorts of tests. They can go abroad, they go to Germany to get a full body scan. So the Dutch government didn't just want quality criteria for health checks for all sorts of screening, but they also wanted to put it on the international agenda, which is where the EPAAC came in very handy. Thank you so much for this forum. Now, what we wanted to achieve with our quality criteria is to get some sensible screening practices. We used the example of our own screening programs and try to make a light version for screening. We wanted to protect people from unsound screening. That's how the whole Population Screening Act started, because we used to screen everybody for tuberculosis without even thinking about radiation. And most of all, we wanted to give some power to the clients and help them make responsible choices. Now, what we didn't do is redo all the regulations that are already there. We just saw Larry's presentation about really proper guidelines. These are not well thought out scientific guidelines. This is just getting people to think about all sorts of quality criteria for all sorts of screening. So we did not redo the council recommendations. We did not redo the directive on self-tests. We're not touching the regular healthcare. If you go to your GP, if you're sick, that has nothing to do with this, because that's already well regulated. We just refer to those examples and use them. And how did we do that? That's what Marlou is going to tell you.
Hi, Marlou Bijlsma from Netherlands Standards Institute. What we do is making standards at national level, at European level, and at international level. One of the products we do is a CEN workshop agreement, is a consensus document at European level, and we follow the methodology. Well, as a standards institute also, we have to follow standards, how to do, to make such agreements, how to make international standards, and how to do it in a transparent and open way that, well, has the confidence of those using the standards. It's the CEN and the ISO and the national standards bodies, it's the same network. It's a network internationally. International standards are called ISO standards. Those are more known. The European standards are called EN, European standard. Well, all the different national standards have their own thing. So we follow a standardized methodology, and I just want to explain to you how this methodology is, also to convince you that, well, we did our work properly. We didn't just write down, we followed an official procedure. It's this procedure starts that first you announce and you invite people, hey, we are going to do this. It's an open process, so everybody, well, of course, professional, is allowed to enter, and it's your own interest to participate. If you don't participate, well, bad chance, but that was your choice. It's our role really to invite as many people as possible. So we really used this EPAAC network also to inform all of you. I think many of you have had mails from me announcing this thing and also in the different stages. The second step is that we have a start, a kick-off meeting. All those who said, yes, I'm interested, they come and they, well, we discuss what are we going to do, we define what are we talking about, and we present the plan and we agree on it. And there was some discussion, well, we might not have included everybody, and the ones, we were 28 from 10 different countries at that time, we might have missed out a few. So we decided we'd do a survey, which we send out widely, and a call for source documents to really know what is already there in quality criteria for this specific thing, health checks, the ones that are not yet regulated. And this survey and call for source document resulted in a huge amount, well, on the very left, you see such a pile of paper, and we abstracted it. We took out all the quality criteria for them and listed it in huge papers. And then we had the project team meeting, and that was, well, some expert from the big group. They decided, well, which ones are relevant, and they defined a structure, they selected the best ones, they crossed out the copying, and it was a real 3-day, well, boiling pot process until we wrote them down nicely. But that was what we did in this project team meeting. This, what we wrote down in those 3 days, now we present it at our bigger group. The plenary group, and we presented, we explained, we discussed, we amended, until they were satisfied. So then now this, well, group of 28 and some others who joined after they also joined, we were happy with the result, and then the next step was the public inquiry. So we published that draft document, and again we informed all the EPAAC network, the whole CEN network, all the European standard organizations informed their network. This document is going to be published. If you have any comments, please tell us, and even come to our meeting to discuss them. Even all those comments were discussed and agreed upon. And the funny thing is we were all very happy and very proud about the results. And then we published it. So this thing is published, it's available from the EPAAC website, and well, also from all the national standards institutions. But we followed the standard methodology as is laid down by CEN and ISO. The result is a document which sets requirements. Of course, it's not a regulation, but it's a standard. And the CEN workshop agreement is the light version of a European standard. It is valid for 3 years, and after 3 years we have to decide, do we want to develop it to a standard or not? We'll discuss it in 3 years' time. But within this standards organizations, we make all kinds of standards. And well, after the presentation of just now, I can't omit to say that also the international standard on quality management, ISO 9001, was last year published for healthcare organizations. So we amended the international standard, which has huge consensus worldwide on how to do quality management. We amended it for healthcare organizations at the European level, and that standard is now available, and it really allows well, this patient focus. What are the requirements and expectations from the patient, and to judge it afterwards, with patient satisfaction, and to include the whole chain of the different compartments in, well, a breast cancer screening program is definitely an option, because this standard is already there. I can't, I'll give the floor to Annemarieke again.
Well, thank you very much for that little bridge there, because that's what we did for the quality criteria as well. We try to cover the whole chain. It's not just about the screening test, but for the information beforehand, up to the referral. We don't want people just to end up on the street with a screening examination saying, yeah, we have a slightly elevated risk, good luck with that. So we really did want to put the whole chain, the whole screening service in there. Now, we had some nice discussion points you might be interested in. For example, in Holland we have this restrictive law, so if it's not good for you, then we will not allow it. But what if you really, really want it? The project group had a big discussion about that. What if you want something you're not the target group for that? And if you're well informed, you should be allowed to make stupid choices. That was a big discussion point, particularly for the Dutch point of view. What kind of test is it? The test itself is well regulated, but if a clinical test is used for screening, it's probably not very good. You have to know about that. You have to make sure that people get a referral, that you don't just send everybody with a slightly odd examination to the healthcare system, because then it will get blocked. What about clinical utility? That's a big point. I mean, a lot of health checks, there's no real evidence that it's any good. People need to know about that. You may not have RCTs, but people need to know that the evidence is weak at best in some cases. And of course, the quality management system. We did not reinvent the quality management system, but we refer to what was already in place. So basically, just like for the other things, if it's already well regulated, we just refer to it. Now, the key thing is information, so we're using this example. Pretty much, if you have all the information that you give to your client before, and you've already covered most of your screening process. People need to know when they start a health check what will happen afterwards if it's positive. So if you make it from a point of view, we made it for the providers, but we're trying to educate the clients as well. So if this, from a point of view of the client, if you do this little checklist that we borrowed from the Germans, the individuelle Gesundheitsleistungen, or the individual health services, is well regulated in Germany, so that's a plus point of the EPAAC, that we got to borrow that from the Germans. They have a little checklist, and if you do all that, you pretty much have covered the entire quality criteria. And I've already used this. The Dutch Ministry of Health wants to offer an examination to all their employees. And I used the checklist, and I was going, well, did we inform them about this? Did we tell them what kind of tests we're using? What could we find? What happens after that? So I already applied the entire checklist, and I was very happy with it, actually. So it's available on the website, and I think it's very well translated for the client as well.
Okay, that was the quality criteria for health checks that we prepared and that are available now. So if you have questions, you can ask us, but we also have a question to you. Now that we have the standards, it is the objective of the standards were both to enable service providers to improve their services, but also to encourage clients to have an informed choice before choosing the services. And we are really looking in the Netherlands now, how are we continuing with this? Should it be on the road of, trying to accredit the service providers and only give accreditation to the good ones and allowing them, or should it be in the road of putting effort in providing enough information on what is evidence-based, what is the benefit, what is the target group, and for which target group there might be some benefit, so to empower the patient to choose the right test. And so if you have any experience from your country, or if you have made this choice in your country and you have any arguments, either the more the accreditation side or the more the empowering the client side, we would really like to know. And please send us, well, any policy document to support either choice and the arguments behind it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks, sorry.
This is all the people that contributed to the development of the quality criteria for health checks. It's a whole list.
Some of whom are present at the moment.
Many of them are present. Thanks.
Well, thank you.